Hey guys, Mr. Sherrill here. I'm going to go over a little bit of the stuff in regards to what we're going to be working on next, which is Photoshop. So a little bit about Photoshop. It is really was used by the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, and they used it to help enhance pictures, maybe put missing pieces in to help connect the dots between stuff, and do a lot of cool things that helps protect people and solve um, you know issues. We're going to use it. We're going to use it in the business front where we're going to be making things. Okay, so you know, finding bad people, making things for school. They go hand in hand in the sense of the program, but I just want to kind of give you a quick little background about Photoshop, which is pretty cool. All right, for those who don't remember or don't know how, we go to the Start menu. I'm going to just type in the word Photoshop. All right, and then you should get two options. You want to click on the one that says 64-bit. Now I'm going to do a brief, quick run through of what we are going to be doing. And there's, if I was to teach you everything there is about Photoshop, it would be its own class. And so, with the time we have, we can't do that, unfortunately. But I'm going to be able to really kind of hone in on things that I think you'll enjoy and be able to make some cool things. Uh, and just like we have done with other things on Photoshop, what I'm going to go over just kind of helps us make cool things. Okay, it's going to be the tools that you're going to use the most. Now, are there a gazillion tools? Guys, there's a lot of tools that I don't remember how to use anymore, and I've been professionally taught this. So just keep in mind that. Okay. All right. So just like Word, when it opens up, you have a document right in front of you. It's an 8.5 by 11 um, text document. Now, I open up PowerPoint. It's like a 7 by 9 inch document. All right, it's already predetermined. Photoshop's different. We got to tell it what size document we want, which is kind of cool. If I was to think about a billboard, billboards are 100 feet by, I would say, 50 feet rectangle. Okay, I can tell Photoshop, give me a document that is going to be scaled to represent a billboard. Or maybe I want to create the little logo that goes on this. Well, that's, we'll say, 8 centimeters by half a centimeter, half an inch, whatever the case may be. We have our planner. All right, that's a certain size. We have, you have a drink. All whatever I want to do, I can tell it a particular size. Okay. When we think about a business, we're going to have documents. We're going to have what our logos are going to be, what our color scheme is going to be, what we want our business cards to look like. All that is what we can do on here. Now, the other things that make it easier, yeah. I mean, yeah, there's Word, there's PowerPoint, there's templates and all that. But this is the freedom for us to do what we want. So the very first thing we're going to do, we're going to go up here to File. We're going to go to New. When you do that, when you go File, New, you're going to get this screen right here. This is where I say, hey, I want the size to be 7 inches by 5 inches. But before you get into that, get in a good habit of always putting up here whatever you're going to do. And for this, we're just going to put Practice Photoshop. And if you look under where it says preset, there's all these different presets. Okay. The most common that we will use in here are going to be these two. All right, default Photoshop and US Paper. For today, we're going to roll with Photoshop size, default Photoshop size. Okay. Make sure that says color. Sometimes it says gray. We don't want it to be gray. Anytime you change anything, it's going to go up here and change it to be custom. All you got to do is go back and make sure it says that. Okay. You hit OK. It's going to take a hot second, and now we got our document. A couple things I want to point out. Just like on Word, you have your top area, and then you probably have, that's about it. Okay, well in Photoshop we have the top area, which we're recognized, but we have a tool bar, and then we have layers on the right side. Okay, what we need to make sure is that we're always selected on this top tool right here. Always make sure you're on that. Okay. Now there's all these other tools. One thing to keep in mind, you see these little tiny triangles. Those tell me that there's more tools. Okay. So all I'm doing is right clicking, not left clicking. Left clicking would be like when I'm going to select something. See how I select it with the left click? Right click, It gives me more options. Okay, always be on the top tool, always, unless you're doing something particular. Okay, then you come over here. Now maybe you don't see this. Maybe your screen looks like that. Well, it's okay. Up here in the Windows, you just want to make sure it says layers, or you can hit the key F7. Okay, and then there's just the one layer. So you got to think about this. It's kind of like pizza. You have your crust, you have sauce, cheese, toppings, and then whatever kind of sauce, like extra sauce, barbecue, ranch, hot sauce, whatever you're going to be. There's layers. Okay, that's what Photoshop's going to be. First thing I want you guys all to do is we're going to change the color of the background. So down here at the bottom left of my toolbar, you're going to see two colors, two boxes. One is your background, one's your foreground. You just want to click on the top box. Here is where I select the color. Over here is where I select the shade. Okay, and if you notice, there's a color palette down here. This is going to come into play later when I talk about creating color themes and going to a site. That's called a hex code right there. Okay, but we want to make sure we're all the way, bottom left, bottom right to be black. And then we're going to go to the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The 12th tool down. It probably looks like this one on yours. Okay. What we want to do is we're going to go up here. Just draw, I'm clicking and drawing a line down. And it does that. Okay. Then I want you to hit Control Alt Z. And I want you to go from the left. Okay. Control plus Alt plus Z undoes. Maybe go from the right. Control plus Alt plus Z, as in zebra, undoes. And why I'm doing this is so you can see what this particular tool does. Okay, Control, Alt, and Z, it undoes. If you don't like shortcuts, you can go up here to Edit and hit the word step backward. But look, it tells you right there what the shortcut is. Okay. All right, but we want to fill the background. So, like I said, this thing doesn't really fill the background. So I'm going to get it out of there. Control Alt Z. I want to fill it completely. So we right click that tool and we got the paint bucket. Boom. The next thing I want to show you guys is I want you guys to go to internet. Now my internet's going to probably be really slow. Okay. Okay, once you get to the internet, I just want you to go and I want you to type in circle PNG. And go to images. And I want you to find one just like this one, a black circle. Actually, no. I want you to find one with color, any of them with a color. We'll go with this one. Okay, and we're going to right click it, and we're going to go to copy, and we're going to go back here to Photoshop, make sure I'm on the top tool, and then we're just going to go up here to edit. And then I want to kind of quickly pause you. And we have Control V right here. That means paste. Now, if you're like mine, you barely see your circle. Okay, now we're going to resize it. But before I do tell you how, I got to tell you how it's going to help you remember it. One of my favorite movies is where they have a bunch of cars, really cool GM, Chevy cars, really just GM cars, and really cool foreign cars. And they make a weird like noise, and then they transform into big old monsters that save the earth. It's kind of cool, I think. But the whole premise of why I just told you that is that they are a car and they change size to be robots. Well, that word transform is really what Photoshop uses. It's called free transform. So I go to edit, free transform, but I'm going to talk about shortcuts a lot. But it's Control plus T. That will resize anything I put in there. So when I put something in and I want to resize it, I hit Control plus T. Now if you notice, it puts a little box out here that allows me to resize it. Okay. Now this picture is gigantic, so we're going to zoom out. Okay, there's a couple ways of doing this. A lot of people they like to use this tool to zoom out. I don't like that because you got to re-click on a bunch of tools. If you find Alt, ALT, it's right next to your space bar on your keyboard, you're going to hold that, and then with your mouse, a little scrolly ball, you're gonna go to scroll out, and that lets you scroll in and out, zoom in and out to see your whole image. And that will show you how big our document is in comparison to how big the picture was. Okay. And now we're gonna resize it. And I don't really care what size you resize it to be, just want you to change the size. Now, after you do that, there's two ways of finishing up. You can hit enter or you can hit the arrow. If you hit the arrow, it's going to ask you, do you want to apply the transformation? Do you want to apply the change? Alright, do you want to apply that? That's the best way to remember what transformation means, okay? Obviously, if you like the way you resize it, hit apply. Now, I'm going to take you over here real quick. Now, I painted a background white, or black, on purpose, alright? Because I pasted this in, it looks pretty good. I got a black background, got the blue shape. But if I was to take away the background, you know, fill it in white. So go to a little palette, change it to be white, click on the paint bucket tool, make sure I'm on the background layer. That is what I like to call tacky, okay? And what we're going to do next, so if you didn't even do that, you have it still as being black. Okay, that's okay. What I want you guys to do is go over here to layers, click the eyeball. Now, you see the background we have here, the black background. What we're going to do with that background is get rid of it. So go down here to this magic eraser tool, click it, and then click the black. And I'm on my layer that I put in there. Okay, well, what I want you to do now is I want you to get a couple more of these circles, and I want you guys to make the Olympics logo. Okay, don't worry about the colors, just find circles. Put them in there, and I'll show you the next step of what we're going to do later on. So in this video, before we get done here, which will be the next 30 seconds, I showed you guys how to make a new document, file new, showed you what tool to be on, the top tool, showed you where the layers are at, which are on the right, showed you where you can change colors, you know, change up slider here, pick your color there, and then I showed you guys the magic eraser, showed you guys the gradient, and I showed you guys the paint bucket. Okay, the next step, and obviously I showed you guys how to paste something in, and then I showed you how to change the size for your transform, control T. What I want you guys to do now, like I said, is go find some pictures of circles to do your best to make the Olympic logo. Okay, alright, this video is done. Have some fun.